This is MTG Burgeoning, and in this video we are going to update and upgrade our Muxus Goblin Grandee Goblin Tribal EDH deck. Thank you for joining us for another installment of the Up and Up series. Today we are updating and upgrading Muxus Goblin Grandee. We have 4 cards going in and 4 cards coming out, but before we get to that, let me share with you that in the description of this video, if you go skulking around, you'll find links to this build's deck tech, the up-to-the-minute deck list, as well as the video primer series. Now, the 4 cards that are going in are going to take the place of 4 cards that create Goblin tokens. The reason behind this is we want to maximize Muxus's Enter the Battlefield trigger, particularly because we have so many ways to copy it once it hits play. So it's in our best interest to have as many goblins floating around the 99 as possible, so we are going to take out 4 instants and sorceries that create Goblin tokens and put in 4 goblin creatures. Will that work out? We'll find out during gameplay, and of course you'll let us know in the comment section below. The first card going into the 99 of this deck today, that's going to be the Mogg Raider. Here we have a goblin for 1 red mana. That's a 1/1. We can sacrifice a goblin to give target creature +1/+1 until end of turn. If we have a swarm of goblins on our side of the battlefield, and if we're blocking or attacking, having Mogg Raider on our side of the battlefield is going to cause so many headaches for our opponents. But not for us, because we're the ones with all of the goblins that we can sacrifice to give any creature we want +1/+1. With a Mogg Raider going into the 99, it is going to replace one of the aforementioned instant and sorcery spells that create goblin tokens, and that is Dragon Fodder. Here we have a sorcery 1 and a red that puts 2 1/1 red goblins onto our side of the battlefield. Again, we're looking to maximize Muxus, so this Dragon Fodder doesn't necessarily help us with Muxus. It does put 2 goblins onto our side of the battlefield, but we're still getting the same rate on our return with Mogg Raider. It's 1 mana per 1 goblin, except with Mogg Raider, it can ETB off of Muxus's Enter the Battlefield trigger when Dragon Fodder cannot. Alright, card number 2 going into the 99 of this goblin build. There it is, the Moria Marauder. Here we have a Goblin Warrior for 2 red mana. That's a 1/1, and it has double strike. And whenever a goblin or orc we control deals combat damage to a player, we exile a top card of our library. We may play that card this turn. Now, this isn't necessarily going to hurt us in any way. Well, I suppose it could hurt us depending on which cards are being exiled, but keep in mind the amount of card advantage that Moria Marauder is going to provide. The double strike means that it's going to deal first strike damage and then regular damage. So if this hits a player, we're going to exile the top 2 cards of our library, and then we may play those cards this turn. If we've got the mana available, that's great. Also notice that it doesn't say cast the spells, it says play the card. So if we have an available land drop and one of the cards we exile off of Moria Marauder is a land, we can put that land into play on our side of the battlefield. Moria Marauder is going to be one of the creatures that could get onto our side of the battlefield from Muxus's Enter the Battlefield trigger. In addition, looking at the card advantage that this creature provides, we are definitely helping to synergize what we can do with our resources when it comes to what our goblins are doing. We've already seen a combat enhancer with Mogg Raider, and here with Moria Marauder, we're getting more card advantage. Moria Marauder goes into the 99, and it replaces Krenko's Command. So this is pretty much the same thing as Dragon Fodder. 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. It's a sorcery. It doesn't come into play off of Muxus. And the goblins that we're creating, yes, we're getting 2 goblins from 2 mana, and we're only getting 1 goblin from the 2 mana there. But if we can strike for combat damage, the card advantage that Moria Marauder provides us should do wonders in keeping the tempo flowing on our side of the battlefield. All right, Goblin number 3. Here we have, look at these guys. We got the Mog Mob. Here we have 3 red mana for a 3/3, and we can sacrifice this dude, or these dudes, I guess, because it's a mob, right? We can sacrifice Mog Mob to have it deal 3 damage divided as we choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So a little bit of creature removal will be very, very nice, and we don't have to do anything else other than just straight sacrifice Mog Mob. This will help to thin out the board on our opponent's sides of the battlefield, particularly if we're playing against any nuisances, any utility creatures that are just really keeping us down. We can get them off of the battlefield as long as their toughness is 3 or less. Mog Mob is going into the 99, and it is going to replace another instant or sorcery. This one, it is Hordling Outburst. This sorcery for 1 and 2 red mana. We put 3 1/1 red. We put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto our side of the battlefield. Here again, we're investing 3 mana for 3 1/1s. Where the card that's replacing this, we're investing 3 mana into just a 3/3. But with that 3/3, we do have the potential ability of offing 3 creatures on our opponent's sides of the battlefield, because we can sacrifice that to deal 3 damage divided by 3 creatures, so 1, 1, and 1. So we're technically getting better rate on our money than we are for this card, as long as we have targets available to kill those creatures. So Hordling Outburst is out, and Mog Mob is in. All right, MTGBC, how are we feeling so far about these changes? Remember, we're trying to maximize the number of goblin creatures in the 99 so that we can hit Muxus's ETB trigger a lot more effectively and a lot more powerfully than we are with the current sets of instants and sorceries in our deck. This is going to be a continuing theme as we continue to add more and more goblins, hopefully to benefit what Muxus does when it gets from the command zone or our hand onto our side of the battlefield. All right, the last card going in today, card number 4, it is the Siege Gang Lieutenant. Here we have a goblin, 3 and a red mana, and it's a 2/2, and it has the Lieutenant's mechanic. That means that at the beginning of combat on our turn, if we control Muxus, we create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens, and those tokens gain haste until the end of turn. So here we're actually adding a goblin that can create goblin creature tokens as long as Muxus is on our side of the battlefield as well. We can also pay 2 generic mana and sacrifice Goblin Siege Gang Command. I'm sorry, I said that the wrong way. We can pay 2 generic mana and sacrifice a goblin to have Siege Gang Lieutenant deal 1 damage to any target. Now here we also have the ability to, ping down some creatures off of our opponent's sides of the battlefield. We can also do damage straight to our opponent's life totals, and if needed, we can also deal that damage to any opposing planeswalkers that might be, trying to keep a good goblin deck down. So Siege Gang Lieutenant, if we can get Muxus on our side of the battlefield too, imagine casting Muxus, getting Siege Gang Lieutenant with the ETB trigger, moving to combat, getting the 2 red goblin tokens that can attack. Ooh, I like the way that could look. Our opponents, they may not. All right, with Siege Gang Lieutenant going in, that means a card's coming out, and you probably guessed it's going to be Goblin Rally. This sorcery for 3 and 2 red mana has us create 4 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. For the investment of 5 mana, we get 4 tokens. For the investment of 4 mana there, we get the creature with the potential to create many, many more. There you have it, MTGBC. 4 goblin creature cards going into the 99, replacing 4 goblin creature token creating sorcery spells. You let me know your thoughts about these changes in the comment section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic.